I thought it was a wasp's nest under the boardwalk until all of its holes blinked at me. My town dies every October, but this year it feels different. It feels final. If you find this, it's because no one believed me. The cops just looked at me with those tired, pitying eyes. But I know what I saw. There's something under the boards in Port Blossom, and it knows my name. It all started on a Friday night so quiet you could hear the salt crusting on the pilings. I was closing up the wax crypt, the record shop where I'm slowly turning to dust along with the merchandise. It's a mausoleum for music nobody remembers and band shirts for kids who couldn't name a single song. The whole place smells like old paper and forgotten things. On nights like this, the only thing to do was play a game I called vinyl roulette. Dig through the deep bins, find something I've never heard, and let it try to save me from the silence. Tonight's pull, Secret Treaties by Blue Oyster Cult. I knew the hits, everyone does. But I never sat with one of their albums. The cover art, all stark and weird, always gave me a strange feeling. They reminded me of my dad, him going on about seeing them at the old Spectrum back in the day. He probably still had the ticket stub tucked away somewhere. He cried when they tore that building down. I remember that. I dropped the needle, and the opening snarl of Career of Evil blasted out of the store speakers. The sudden noise made me jump, and my coffee went flying. A dark brown stain bled across the white album sleeve, a perfect Rorschach test of my fuck-up. Well, shit. Guess it was mine now. The owner wouldn't give a damn. He was always half joking about torching the place for the insurance money. The first track was all I needed. I killed the music, slid the ruined album into a plastic sleeve, and stuffed it in my backpack. Time to go. The only sound left was the loud, slow tick of the clock on the wall, hanging over a faded poster for some old sci-fi movie. I stepped outside to pull the steel grate down. The boardwalk was a long, empty throat lit by the sickly orange glow of the dusk sky. In a few hours, the darkness would swallow it whole. The grate slammed shut with a bang that echoed down the boards and then just vanished into the wind. I spun the combination on the padlock, the cold metal clicking under my numb fingers. Summer was a ghost. My footsteps on the planks were obscene. Loud, hollow thuds that sounded like knocking on a coffin lid. For 4 months a year, this place is suffocating with life, a stampede of noise and people and laughter. The other 8, it's a cemetery, and I'm the goddamn groundskeeper. That's when I saw him. 2 blocks down, a silhouette against the fading light. Goliath. Everyone called him that. The man was built like a brick shithouse, a monster from a storybook, but he was the gentlest soul I'd ever met. He lived on the fringes, mostly under the boardwalk, I think, because he knew his size scared people. He was just standing there, looking out at the black water, watching the stars pop into existence one by one. To my left, the lights of Gino's Pizzeria were about to go out. Looked like they'd had a better night than me. I ducked inside. In the glass case, a single, lonely slice of pepperoni sat under the heat lamp. A girl with dark, tired eyes had her back to me, wiping down the counter. I cleared my throat. She spun around, hand flying to her chest. Jesus, you scared the hell out of me. I tried for a smile. It probably looked more like a grimace. Sorry. Was just hoping to grab that last slice before you tossed it. She let out a breath and laughed, a small, genuine sound. Yeah, sure. It's all yours. $3. While she slid it into the oven, she leaned on the counter. Got big plans for a Friday night. I thought about it. The ritual. Work. Then Mick's Tavern for a couple beers until the world got fuzzy enough to sleep through. Gonna head to Mick's, I guess. Oh, Mick's, she said, her eyes lighting up a little. Just off the ramp, right? Maybe I'll swing by after I close. There's not a whole lot else to do around here. I handed her a 5. Keep it. Thanks, she said. Maybe I'll see you. Yeah, maybe, I said, and I knew I was lying. I took the pizza and left. She was nice. Too nice for this town, probably. But first, I had something to do. Goliath hadn't moved. He was just starting to gather his few belongings into a tattered duffel bag. I walked up, the pizza box warm in my hands. Hey man, haven't seen you around. He turned, and a slow, tired smile spread across his bearded face when he saw it was me. Orville, it's been a while. Quiet out here, I said, stating the obvious. He nodded, not looking up from his bag. That time of year. Won't miss it though. What do you mean? He finally finished packing and let out a sigh that seemed to come from the center of the earth. His voice was a low rumble. Going to that place over in Summerdale. Gonna get my head right. The words were so simple, so solid. I felt a stupid grin on my face. That's fucking great, man. Seriously. He took another deep breath of the cold sea air. I gotta see her again. He reached into his coat and pulled out a worn, creased photograph. He held it in his giant, calloused hands like it was a holy relic. It was a picture of a newborn baby, all wrinkled and red, clutched in those same massive hands. Haven't seen her for real since then. Lost the job, then everything else just slid. He trailed off, shaking his head as if to clear it. But I'm ready. Tonight's the last night. Got my bus ticket for the morning. Just wanted to see the sunset one more time. And I had to. Pay my respects before I left. Pay respects? I didn't know what to say. I just stood there, holding the pizza. I didn't know you had a daughter. I remembered the box in my hand. Here. Gino's was closing. Figured you could use it. My treat. He looked from the box to my face, and for a second I thought he was going to cry. He just nodded and took the pizza. Thanks, Orville. That's good of you. I stuck my hand out. It felt dumb, but it was all I could think to do. It was good knowing you, man. I mean that. He took my hand in his grip surprisingly gentle. It was like shaking hands with a bear. You too. I hope I don't see you again. You know what I mean. He let out a low chuckle. He slung the bag over his shoulder and started to walk away. A thought hit me. Hey, what's your real name anyway? In case I ever want to look you up, see how you're doing. He paused, but didn't turn all the way around. It doesn't matter anymore. And then he was gone, just a large shadow swallowed by the other shadows of the night. I walked toward the ramp that led off the boardwalk, toward Mick's. The neon sign of the bar cast a flickering red light on the face of the mighty King Kong ride next to it, making the ape look like it was bleeding. My whole life was in this 3-block radius. Work, booze, and sleep. A perfect little triangle. I stopped at the railing just before the ramp, leaning against the cold, salt, sticky wood. Down below, in the dark space between the pilings, the tide was out. The wet sand glistened. Goliath's words echoed in my head. Pay my respects. To who? What the hell was he talking about? That's when I saw it. It wasn't a trick of the light. Tucked away against the concrete footing of a piling, half hidden in the gloom, was something that didn't belong. At first, I thought it was a cluster of sea foam or some weird fungus. I leaned further over the rail, squinting. It was pale. A sickly grayish white, like bruised flesh. The texture looked soft and wet, and it was moving. A slow, rhythmic pulse. In and out. In and out. Like it was breathing. It was a cluster of sacs. Maybe a dozen of them, each the size of a grapefruit, fused together into one mass. They were translucent, and I could see dark shapes moving slowly inside. The whole thing was covered in these little dark pits, like oversized pores. I couldn't look away. My heart was a hammer against my ribs. What the fuck was I looking at? Then one of the pits, one of the black pores right in the center of the largest sac, started to change. It wasn't a pit, it was an opening. And it swiveled, slowly, deliberately, turning upward. It focused on me. And it dilated,